The am I the asshole? Yeah, I have an asshole, David.
All right.
Going live. You're live.
All right. We are live. Like the.
When do you want me to hit record now?
We're not doing record now.
No,
This is
it's
a
not
live show, Andy.
It's a
No,
show.
well, fucking shit.
Live
Yeah.
show.
Friday's the live show. So now, if people there be, they are watching our logo.
Oh, do you need my video?
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. I mean, if you want to give it to me, I've got mine ready to go. So.
How?
Okay, so while people are
You can see the liquor that I bought.
Kayla says, "Woo, I made it. That was close."
Whoa, Kayla made it. All right, let's see if I can integrate Andy into some sort of
Integration.
shot window capture, and it's saying which one. I'll say this one. No, bitch.
Oh, bitch.
How do I make it? Oh, maybe I just do that and then this. I guess. How do I make it better?
We're live, guys.
Metal,
I know we're
the metal
live.
straws that I only own because David complained.
Well, here's the thing, Andy. There are two types of straws in the world, much like there are two types of people, if you will. There are the type of straws like you have, which is the the wrong straw. What I'm going to tell you is
Oh,
what
okay.
you have is an affront to both God and man.
Oh no! What did I do? I can get rid of the am I the? Oh no, I'll say it. We can do it.
But let me tell you why, and then you'll totally agree with me. Maybe I should save it for the show. So let me write that down. Okay, 2
I don't have a straw in my glass.
straws. Okay, we'll talk about that during the show. We haven't gone live yet. So,
Well,
or no,
we
we
are
are live,
live.
but we haven't gone video live yet. It's what time is it? 2 minutes. Do we have 5 people?
We have 2.
Okay, so we have 3 people to go or 3 minutes to go.
I see.
Take a little sip of the old coffee here.
It's funny because David was a huge asshole when it came to ice, but he can drink his drink right in front of his microphone, and it's all good.
Number 1, the show hasn't started.
But we are live, so the
It
show
doesn't matter. This is all gravy. I could mute this, and people could be watching the logo sans audio.
Kayla says, "Look at that logo. Happy Flamingo Friday."
Flamingo Friday, and that's number 2. So this is all green room talk.
I didn't wear my flamingo shirt. I'm wearing my hot dog shirt.
I do see that, because is Sinbad an actual product?
It's a local hot dog joint.
Whoa.
They served hot dogs to Kobayashi.
Here's the thing. Everybody has a shirt like that where it looks like a legitimate, like, and since it was, everything that started in the 70s, local or not, I feel is super, it all looks the same. It's all the same fonts. Like nowadays, I feel like you could tell a local ad from, and even like, whatever. We'll get into it later. How many people we got?
Yeah.
Has not changed in the 30 seconds that we've been talking.
30 seconds.
Weird.
It's been at least a minute. That's 60 whole seconds.
I've got commercials to talk about. Speaking of the 70s.
Oh man, I would just got once it gets released. RJ and I talked about one of my favorite commercials. It's the one I call it Bobby Flay versus Hidden Valley Ranch. You need to watch it, Andy. It's literally, how in The Simpsons, where Bart hits pause on the video and they watch Ralph's heart break in half?
Yes.
In this 8-second commercial featuring Bobby Flay hawking Hidden Valley Ranch, if you hit pause, and since it is probably 60 FPS and 4K, you could probably nail it to the millisecond. You can see every millimeter of his...
when the life leaves his eyes?
Yeah, of his, like, integrity, like, everything that he was, like, as soon as he bites that quesadilla, it's gone.
See...
It's like chlorine gas.
I've never liked... The last celebrity chef I liked was Julia Child.
But that's the thing. They're so since they
maybe Morimoto. Like we watched a lot of Iron Chef, and even Iron Chef America. Once I got over the fact that it wasn't as over the top.
I think everybody, like, since they have to be like a celebrity chef, they have to have these big personalities, and 9 times out of 10, that just means they're assholes.
Did we bring you to the place that serves you omelets the size of your head here?
Possibly.
I think so.
Because like their claim to fame was Bobby Flay came and we were on Beat Bobby Flay.
Here's the thing.
And that's a weird concept for a show. It's like Bobby Flay shows up, like, I'm gonna kick your ass at what you do best. Fuck you.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like rooting for a sports team. Those people aren't from here. They're probably not going to stay here for very long, but the building that you are standing in once housed Bobby Flay, and he may have shit there. What, Krista, how many people? It's been 5 minutes is what I'm getting at.
Okay, so should I play the intro?
Yeah, Andy,
Yes.
Here we go.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Dave, and this is a live show. Let me introduce you. You see him up here in the corner. There's Andy.
Hello.
There he is. Over across from me, not on camera, we got Krista over there.
Hello.
Thank you for showing up. Here's my cup. It has flamingos on it. I am wearing
See,
my
I'm not
flamingo
watching you.
spirit animal shirt. Truing the flamingo, still dead, however.
Oh no.
Jesus, he is not. So, Andy,
Yeah.
let's get right into it. Here's why your straw sucks. But
The straw, the bendy one.
yeah, but why you were so close. You were so close. Here's the thing. The straight steel straw is possibly man's most perfect creation. However, when you add a bend 45 degrees within the first third, it becomes the devil's own machinations.
Oh, you turn two of those upside down, and it's like the two L's in hell.
Yes, it's HE double two
Straw.
bendy straws.
I have straight ones.
Well, and
They came in one pack.
here's the thing. Maybe there's a time for a bendy straw. I don't know when that is though, because here's the problem. When you have a straight straw, there's literally you can't fuck up. Unless you are extremely drunk, that straw is going to meet your mouth every time. Because if it rolls, it stays straight. With that goddamn bendy asshole that you've got right there, it can go woo woo and hit you in the cheek. And yeah, that's the thing. You can look like a total asshole. So not only that, it can also be noisy. Like if you put it in a travel cup, it can roll and hit you in the arm. Like if I've got a manual transmission, if that thing's rolling over the place, it gets wedged into my arm. I panic and yank it up. The cup flies into the windshield, splattering the liquid all over the place. Then the cup rolls.
We're all dead.
Yeah, it rolls off the dash under the brake. And then the gas truck behind me, he's like, one of those guys who's really distracted. He's holding up a big, triple page porno, and he's like, beep, beep, ah!
He couldn't have just been tired from the long haul. No,
Nope.
he's
he's
got
got
like
porno.
an old Playboy.
Yeah, and he
And a
wouldn't be
big gulp.
tired because he would have all those old bottles of trucker pills rolling around that are all empty.
All the
and he'd,
speed.
Yeah.
he'd be taking trucker speed, and that's why he's also doing the porn, because he's like, I'm so stimulated.
I took too many trucker pills. Now I have a boner.
Yeah, and that's the problem with those bendy straws is, you may not think you're in any danger because all it takes is one weak link in that chain to destroy you. That straw. You had a straight straw, it goes boop, or you move it, fine, done, problem solved. That thing, it's completely unpredictable. You're inviting chaos into your life.
I can't fault your logic.
No one ever can, but people will still disagree.
If it wasn't in a Diet Coke that had some liquor in it, I would throw it to the ground.
Why you wouldn't have? You could just put it in the dishwasher or save it.
Nope,
for
it's going. It's gone.
Yeah, I here's the thing. I have 4 of them, and every time I am forced to use one, it is simply because the straight ones are in the washer. Because those ones with the bent part, they are wild cards.
The
they're nuts.
only time I can think of a good time that it won't roll around is if you're in bed or laying down somewhere where you can just roll over and put it in your mouth.
But
See, but
that's going to be
and
impossible.
when I'm drinking anything else, it's always water, and it's always in this.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a straight shot.
Yeah.
When you
I
no,
used to have
that
a
doesn't
straw
have a plug,
thing,
okay.
and the straw doesn't. the straw doesn't give me water as fast as I want it.
Right. That's the thing. I am always
I'm a teacher,
drawn-
goddammit. I can only take off my mask for 30 seconds at a time.
Yeah, he needs to drink water fast. He needs a teacher's bottle. But whatever. Moral of the story is, so what I'm saying is imagine all that, and then imagine, because I notice you don't have this. So this is the coup de grace. This is what takes it from like, walking around the river of boiling blood in hell straight to level 9 is when you put, I don't have one handy, but there are like those silicone straw tips that basically keep your teeth from hitting the metal and keeping the coldness off your teeth. Great.
I don't have cold sensitive teeth. Don't need it.
Which is whatever. It's to each his own. However, I like them because I don't like smashing it into my teeth. But the problem is it brings with it a bunch of extra weight. So where before you had a broomstick swinging around, now you have a mallet. So you've added 6 ounces of silicone, and now this thing is like, all right. But before this was like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. And now it's a Slimer pencil topper that will take any excuse to spin.
Swinging it like the hammer of Thor.
I'm telling you, even on a straight road, you put a bendy straw with a silicone tip on it, if you open the window, it'll shoot out.
Good question.
Sure.
Why do you have open containers in your car that need straws that are just like wee 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 wee?
What? Because I'm thirsty sometimes. Like when we go on a road trip.
With a goddamn water bottle.
But here's the thing. With a water bottle, there's like parts involved. There's like either a cap or a twist. With a cup with a straw, you pick it up, drink, put down. No fuss.
And then you hit the one speed bump in the grocery store parking lot, and all of a sudden it looks like you pissed your pants. You can't go grocery shopping now.
If it comes down to getting out of a car looking like I pissed my pants versus like a comedy style, like, whoa, trying to get a bottle open and then a fiery explosion ending in my death, I'll take the pissed pants.
Oh, God, David, I had a comedy style whoa the other day.
Tell me about it.
So my condo complex used to have a whole bunch of those the mailboxes that are like communal.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they were spread all over the place. Now they have one big communal mailbox.
Is it like in a big room?
No, it's just outside.
I would, here's the thing. If I were, one day when I'm rich, I don't mean to interrupt, but when I'm rich and I start my own apartment complex, the mailbox is just going to be like a big mound, like a big turtle. And you have to go in through the mouth and all the mailboxes are like scales on the shells.
I'd love it.
And or it's like a World War II style turret and bad tenants get shot in the face.
So, I usually park, like there's guest parking right next to it. All the old people always park in the red zone right in front of it.
Why not? I mean, they're going to be dead soon. Who they care? I mean, why?
So the thing is I get out, I'm holding my mask, but I don't see anybody. So I'm like, I don't need to put this on. Go to get my mail. Old person pops out.
Jumps out behind the mailbox.
Like, well, not like that. They speed up to the mailbox, like, park, get out of their car, like, hey, buddy, how's it going? Like, oh, God, got to really quickly put on my mask. Then I'm pissed off because I'm trying to juggle mail while I'm holding my keys and doing this thing while not trying to get a disease from an old person.
Right.
So I really quickly, like, I have my mail. I'm really quickly going back to my car. I'm like, fucking old man, stupid asshole. Grab the door, open it, and clip my leg. So I'm like, whoa. And I was like, oh, glad I didn't trip. Hit my foot on the damn door frame. Like, and then squish my sunglasses with my hand.
Nice.
It was great.
You know, one of those, I feel like everybody has these days. So I feel like prefacing it with like, hey, do you know when? But so it was one of those days I woke up, everything was fucked. Like when the first thing you try in the morning is fucked and you know the rest of the day is going to be fucked. This is how fucked it was.
I kind of get that. Like, I was telling my wife the other day, like, I just feel like something's going to go wrong today. She goes, that's just the definition of anxiety. It's like, I guess so.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If it's backed up by real life, then it's no longer anxiety. It's like time to call it and stop for the day.
Go back to bed.
Like, seriously.
I'm not coming in today, said David.
Among the things that I did, like, so, whatever, I bring a big 12-pack of seltzer to work because sometimes this old guy gets thirsty. So I'm
you
juggling
need some sparkling water.
Yeah, with a little lemon, little lime, whatever. Moral of the story is I'm going in, so I've got my bag and this thing, and I'm trying to do the key, and trying to get my mask, and I'm like juggling, blah, blah, blah. Drop it, everything. Everything drops. Somehow, everything, even the bag that was over my shoulder, decides, nope, fuck it. Pulls its ripcord.
Broke
Everything falls to the ground. Even like the keys fall out of my hand. So I go from being like a cartoon camel under a giant load going through the desert to
A stroke patient.
holding nothing. Everything
encumbered to unencumbered.
Yes, basically. So like I went from like, time to go on a journey to like, oh, there's a homeless man spreading out his belongings on a street corner. Like that.
Yay.
Like everything I owned was on the ground. And the thing bust open, the soda went everywhere, and I just
Left.
it was 6 o'clock in the morning, it was dark, and I just screamed the F word. I screamed as loud as I could. I picked up all my shit and I went to work. Then I crashed both Raspberry Pis.
Nice.
I had a class yesterday, David.
Nice.
That I got close to saying some things, but the only curse word they heard from me was crap. At some point, David, I realized I was an asshole when I was a kid.
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with 4th grade boys? 4th grade girls, completely wonderful.
I don't know. That's the thing. I can, obviously, maybe this is the problem, is people say, oh, what's wrong with kids? Because you look at the kids who are assholes and you go, well, all kids are fucked. But those type of kids were the same when you were a kid, when your parents were a kid, blah, blah, blah. So that's the thing. You can't say, why do kids suck? No, these kids suck just as much as the kids who sucked back then. It's just we're still trying to be like, why are these children? No, that's the thing. You got parents who are dicks raising dick kids and adults who aren't dicks looking at these dick kids by these dick adults being like, why are they dicks? It's a cycle of
here's the
dicks.
deal.
That's a lot of dicks.
There was a point yesterday where I said, if you need to sharpen your pencil, you bring it to me.
I'll sharpen
Because
it
these
for
little
you.
assholes,
Andy,
like, can I sharpen my
authoritarian.
pencil, Mr. B? I'm like, absolutely, you can sharpen your pencil. The reason they had to keep sharpening them is because they were throwing sharp pencils at each other.
Nice. Not at the ceiling? Remember how you used to like throw at the
Oh.
ceiling and stick it in the
I remembered, like, all of the school designs there's 2 different school designs in the Reno Sparks area. There's one where there's 3 separate buildings that are like long connected buildings and all the classrooms are connected.
Sure.
And then there's one that's a big building that has several wings that you go down. I was in one of the wing ones when I was a kid, and we used to, like, in the middle there's a huge quad. We used to stick our pencils up in that fucking ceiling all the time.
We had
Because nobody could get them down. The janitors can't reach them unless they get a scissor lift, and even then.
We had a quad, and a senior prank let out a bunch of mice through the 4 corners of our school while the bell rang and everybody was going, and so they went to Petco or whatever and got a bunch of those cheap mice and also the mice in our science class, and they just let them all out.
Not for nothing, but like pranks are things that you go, ow, crap, I've been pranked, and then you clean it up. Like releasing a self-replicating organism that spreads disease, that's like a crime. That's like a biblical plague. Like here's what happened at my junior high. Like at the last day of school, the 9th graders would always have a shaving cream war, and they would try and keep it on campus, but they'd always get weeded out. They'd always check every backpack, blah, blah, blah. And that's a prank. Getting squirted with shaving cream is like, oh, you little, get your shenanigans out of here. It's the last day of school. If a year from now, you're on the 87th generation of this mouse that keeps giving you the hantavirus, like, it's very hard to be like, ha, gotcha.
They also put laxatives in our ketchup in the cafeteria.
That's funny. See, you can shit it all out and it'll be fine.
This is an old story, and I don't know if I've told it on the podcast, but can I tell you the tale of the mouse that my coworker caught? It was terrible.
Okay.
When I was a janitor, the old guy, and like I learned a lot. I've told this on the podcast. Like he ended up being like a huge turd all around.
Yeah.
There was a mouse that was loose in the teacher's lounge, but you'd see it around the school too because kids leave everywhere and just get stuff.
Yeah.
One night I walk into the teacher's lounge and he's cheering and holding a piece of paper over the toaster.
No.
The mouse had, like, he heard something in the toaster, looked in there, it was the mouse, he just toasted it.
What?
Then he was like, well, we should probably clean out the toaster. I was like, no, we're going to throw away the toaster.
And I'm calling the police. That reminds me of a less horrifying story of when I caught a bat. Would you like to hear that one?
And then Bathus has a...
Sure. Did you have rabies now?
Yeah. I got
super
ass
hydrophobic.
rabies. What does Bathus say?
Oh, Bathus says, one class a few years above me filled the principal's truck bed with maple syrup.
See, hilarious. That's a prank.
That's a sticky
So,
situation.
in my school, the auto class took like the shitty truck that everybody works on in the auto shop.
Yeah, I took it apart and put it together somewhere. Zany, I'm sure.
In the hall.
Yeah. Like, obviously.
Like the whole thing. I don't even know how they got the chassis in there. I assume they just
Here's the thing.
Got the key to or picked the lock because it's a shitty old school to remove the bars from the double doors.
Just know that if you have a shop class, it is an inevitability you're going to find a car somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like if you own a 7-Eleven, you're going to get shot. It's not if.
Well, no, if I own a 7-Eleven, I assume my manager's going to get shot.
True. Yeah. So whatever. Yeah. But let's say, you're an entrepreneur, you buy it and you want to like bring it from the ground up. You're still going to take a bullet.
Staffing it myself with my children.
Yeah. So here's my story about when I caught a bat. It was the easiest wild animal catch ever. So it
flew in my mouth.
I put some bugs in my mouth and a bat flew in and I closed it. No, we were, I was an electrician at the time. We went to the college basketball arena, the whatever, ASU Sun Devils thingamajig. Walking in, looking at all these electrical panels, and I'm like, ew, what the? It's like someone left a turd on top of who would take a shit on top of an electrical box, I thought. So I get up and I'm like, ew, and I take a closer look. It's a tiny little brown bat.
Oh.
Adorable, yeah. So, and it's just sitting there. It was, I think probably late winter, early spring, so it's cold. And I imagine what had happened is it got stuck in this massive basketball stadium and was like, got tired as fuck and found something warm to crash on.
What bat ingenuity?
Yeah. So I picked his ass up, put him in a box. He ran out the shift in my in the box I put him in
my box.
So I brought him home, put him in the studio. And put a book on top just in case he was strong enough somehow to open this box.
Yeah.
So in the morning, I thought, time to let this bat free. And I thought, well, it wouldn't hurt to just take a peek.
Bat got loose?
So, yeah, of course it did. I opened it in the living room, and it's flying around. It lands on the curtain, and I'm like, but thank God. He was still pretty sleepy, so I just sort of coaxed him. I got him, and he was like the size of a silver dollar. So whatever. I don't think even if he were given the desire, he could have infected me with rabies because his teeth were like, not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I grabbed him and I was like, I opened the sliding door and I said, "You're free." And
Flop.
this motherfucker, he was like, doo-doo-doo-doo, boop, and went right above the door. And I was like, I don't care anymore. Slam. Whatever. Live out there. I just can't deal with it.
See, I had and this is mostly my fault. So we have blue jays around here, like big ass blue jays.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I see like this blue jay dive bomb a sparrow, and the sparrow lands in my porch. And I'm like, shit, that thing is probably dead. The blue jay's looking around for it. And then flies off. So I go outside. I'm like, oh, no, look, it's just scared. And I'm like, I'll just pick him up, make sure he's all right. Flew right into my house because I didn't close the door.
Yeah, there's no blue jays in there.
Immediately, he's just like clenched to my air conditioning vents, like up on the ceiling. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, great.
You could live there now.
It took me 30 minutes to get him to sit on a broom and then like slowly walk so he's not like, what the fuck? And then toss him outside. After that, I was like, I hope the blue jay gets you.
David saved a grackle in our backyard. He was like drowning in the dog water.
So stupid. It like fell into the
birds.
It fell into the dog water, and I go to dump it to refresh it, and there's just this bird floating on its back, and I was like, God damn it, a dead bird. And then it like turns its head and looks up at me, and I'm like, oh crap, a tired alive bird.
We brought it inside, and he dried it off, and.
Disgusting.
And now the bird lives in our backyard and has like, I don't know how many generations living there now.
Something about a wet bird. They're like, when you look at a bird and you see its feathers and you don't have to touch its bony, disgusting body.
Yeah.
birds, whatever your feelings are, I'm lukewarm on them. I get that they're dinosaurs and whatnot, but they're horrifying creatures, especially if you interact with them on a personal level.
It's one of those things where you're like, oh, look at my baby chicks. Do you want to hold one? I was like, I'm afraid I'm going to touch it wrong and it will die.
Touch it wrong.
Whatever. Birds are weird. Hey, here's the thing.
But speaking of dinosaurs, David, I linked you that thing about the biggest dinosaur ever.
I saw that. So here's the thing. When I see the skull of one of these giant sauropods, that's when I'm gonna like lose it, because here's the problem with sauropods. They keep finding bigger and bigger ones, and when you look into it and you read the articles and you read the literature and you read the research, it's all based on one bone. Like Matt Wadel, the sauropod specialist, will find one, like Sauroposeidon, based on one vertebrae. And it's cool to conceptualize and say, okay, well, we found this one bone. Ding, we'll snap our fingers. If the rest of it was built kind of like the other pieces we have, it'll look like this. So that's why I like Camarasaurus. Another shout out to the Camarasaur. There's not a lot to the imagination.
That's my Camarasaurs.
We could be totally wrong about like the Argentinosaurus head, Sauroposeidon, all these the Giraffe Titan, yada, yada, yada. All these giant titanosaurs. We don't have a head. They could have a head the size of a walnut. They could have a head that had like big droopy lips or like dumb eyes, like a frog head. We don't know.
Yeah.
And that's when I'll get excited. Bigger, better, whatever. Like, once you get...
And anytime I see a dinosaur article, I'm like, I gotta show David. But he's probably already seen it, like the dinosaur butthole one.
Yeah, the dinosaur butthole one I got from like 3 people.
But I love the way the scientists describe it as like it's the most complete, perfect butthole.
And it is.
It's the most erotic dinosaur butthole. It is the most delicious dinosaur butthole.
I'm surprised that they haven't been able to find a dinosaur butthole sooner based on how many mummies we have.
Well, but this one is like frozen, right?
Right. But I'm saying is like, it was only a matter of time before we start finding genitals, simply because...
that's all that's left?
No, not that.
Yep, that's all that's left.
Yeah. I doubt
Look at this dinosaur dork.
Yeah. I don't think they had a dinosaur Napoleon whose penis is going to wash up on some island somewhere. No, what I'm saying is like, now that you don't know what you're looking for until you find what you're looking for. Like no one found a dinosaur mummy until we found a dinosaur mummy. Now they're everywhere. Mm-hmm. No one knew what a black hole was or where to find one until we found one. Now they're everywhere.
Hey, so, global warming's helping with the dinosaur and other things.
True.
Yeah.
We're getting more erosion and there's a bunch of more tragedies.
Let's destroy the planet, but we will find more dinosaurs.
This is true. If we can get up into that Alaskan, like the permafrost, get that thawed out, there's tons of pachyrhinosaurs up there. But I digress. What was I talking about before that?
I don't know, but I like you wearing those glasses.
Buttholes?
Oh, yeah, the buttholes.
Buttholes.
Dinosaur buttholes were, as soon as I saw that there was a dinosaur mummy, I was like, okay, boom, inevitability. We're going to get a full-blown freeze-dried, flash-frozen, whatever dinosaur eventually. And the butthole's going to be there. We're going to find, because here's the thing. In an infinite amount of time, you have an infinite amount of possibilities. Now, given we don't have an infinite amount of time, we have 190 million years. That is enough time, Andy, for this to happen.
It is.
A male dinosaur to get a boner. Something bad happens to that dinosaur. He's jilted lover, snaps, kills him, whatever. He dies erection intact and is fossilized.
Erection intact. But that it seems like they all had cloacas.
Whatever. There still has to be something that comes out to deposit genetic material.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at dinosaur genitalia or bird genitalia for that matter.
You can't look at dinosaur genitalia because it's all hypothetical, and that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I bet if I typed in dinosaur dick right now on the internet, I could look at somebody's conception.
Yeah.
Right, but that you're living in a fantasy world of some diseased sex pervert. I'm talking about reality. So in 190 million years, there is a 100% chance that there was a fossilized dinosaur boner. We just have yet to find it and maybe not be lucky enough to find it. Everything is chance when it comes to boners. Andy,
Yep, the chance boner.
I've got. So here's the thing. I finally proved, or I can prove, a fundamental flaw in half of humanity. So here it is. Some people will say like pineapple in your pizza or no, and that's a big divider. For me, a big divider of men and women, not sexist, is whether you like heat or cold. You say, oh, I like cold weather or I like hot weather. Here is why being cold sucks from a purely logical point of view. Like there's no like, well,
I'm on your side.
But there are people listening who are like, no, cold, Dave, be cold. No, I've heard this story my entire life, and here's why you're wrong. When you are cold, you are in an environment that has a deficiency of energy. The ambient air has a deficiency compared to your body. So by the rule of osmosis, it is going to leach energy out of you in the form of heat. Therefore, your body is going to have to kick up or you're going to have to insulate. So you are, burning more calories, possibly America's fat, or becoming more covered in layers of encumbrance. Either way, you're having to burn more calories again because you're having to carry this coat. It's going to be constricting. There's maybe a scarf, blah, 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 blah. So you have a season that is a net negative, and not only is a net negative, but is stealing your resources and your assets. That is the winter.
Resources.
That's why the cold sucks. And here's why you're wrong for liking it. Because if you like, you can always put on more clothes. You can't take off. Once you're too hot, you can't take off. Here's the thing. Put on as much clothing as you want. You may be warm, but it's going to be a real pain in the ass to move around. And the part of you that's exposed is going to sting like a fucking beast.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about logic and the thinking man's season. Summertime.
Spring. Oh.
Summertime.
Not in your neck of the woods. Fuck that.
No, especially in my neck of the woods. And here's why. We have a energy plethora. We have a surplus. We have an extraordinary amount of energy. So for me, the cost versus gain for summer is remarkable because it costs me nothing because I don't have to regulate my ambient body temperature, like keeping it above a certain amount. Sweating costs zero things aside from salt, which I can easily replace with water. And I'm not constantly fighting to literally stay alive because the cold is trying to drop your body temperature. And if that does, you are dead. Sweating automatically happens, costs you nothing, it's cheap and easy. It's almost free. Not only that, pools exist. We've got water hoses. There's refrigerators and ice cream. And it only makes sense to like warm weather. And if you like the cold weather, I'm sorry. But as you can tell, there's no holes in this argument. So
I don't agree with hot. I like a balmy 74 degrees.
To each his own. My point is, personally, I think the more energy, the better, because it's better to have more than to have less. If it's a 72 and a wind picks up and then a wind chill takes it down to a 66 and my nipples get hard and I don't have a jacket, you're fucked.
Your nipples are getting hard at 66, you big bitch.
Listen.
David's in a parka when it's
at night. Sometimes it'll dip into the 40s here, and I've got to wait literally 2 or 3 hours before it's 80 degrees again. So
it is 36 degrees currently.
Woo!
Oh, it's probably like in the 50s.
My phone is on airplane mode, but last I was able to check, it was 63 degrees here.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Can you guess what Kayla's thinking man season is?
God. Okay, hold on. No, it's got to be a pun. So it's spring or fall, and the thinking man's probably would be spring because falling is bad.
No, her answer is basil.
Okay.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, I know. Here.
Give it.
The problem is, Kayla, is if I were to ask for something at a table, I would not say, would you please pass me the season? Basil? Seasoning? That's a little bit of a stretch. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying could be better. Fall and spring had some things there. But anyway, yeah, now that I've proven that winter sucks and everyone who likes it is an idiot.
Oh no, winter does suck, and but there's also like the romanticness of snow, except that doesn't happen here.
And here's the thing. If you can look at something on TV and get the exact same experience as in real life, sans the part where it could kill you if you accidentally fell asleep in it, totally cool with it. Like, I'll go up and see the snow. You really
can't get the same. I want to throw snowballs at things.
Right, I get it. Going up to the snow and like visiting a cold place just to be like, ooh, isn't it a zany experience to have literally the air trying to kill you at every moment? And then you go home and you're like, whoo, done. That was a nerve-wracking experience because death was literally in my throat every second of the day.
I don't go places to do that. I just look outside when it snows, take the dog out so he can look stupid, and then come back indoors, go, whoo, time for a hot bath.
Jiminy Jesus. And that's the thing. I
look at these nuts. They're right up in there.
Yeah, I realize people have to live in cold climates because there are resources, minerals, hard substances, precious metals and stuff. I don't know why you're there. There are kids all over the place. There's kids in warm climates.
Because I own a house here. But back to, so if we want to talk about my teachings yesterday, the kids are learning about the Donner Party because that's what you learn about when you're in school in Nevada.
4th grade?
Yeah.
All right. Whatever.
So they're learning about westward expansion, and the Donner Party is a big part of it here.
So let me ask you this. Are they teaching like the legitimate Donner Party story, or they're just like, well, everything went terribly wrong and it was a zany cannibal party?
Well, they do teach a legitimate story where it wasn't a cannibal party. Some people did eat people.
Right. I mean, like, how close do they stick to the truth? And is it like glamorized for the children to be like, yeah, they ate each other, like a ghost story?
They're reading Patty Reed's Doll, which is about one of the girls that I think survived? ?
That is such an interesting.
But they're asking me like, why did people go west? I'm like, because they thought there was gold here, and there was, but not for them.
I appreciate the part of the population that is the early adopter, that is the blind traverser. I appreciate them because without them, we wouldn't have a lot of stuff. They are the beta testers. Like the people who came from England to America were like, I'm going to check this shit out. Beta testing. They got it to work eventually. People on the westward expansion, like Lois and Clark, beta testers. Great. Not this guy. I'll be there like generation 2, generation 3. Let's get the bugs worked out. Let's get the firmware updated. I'll be there. Do you want to sign up for that first trip, that first whatever, like the first smartphone that blows up in your pocket and you get horrible burns to the bone? That's the price of being on the cutting edge. I'll be a couple generations behind. Just me.
Sounds like David.
It's a winning strategy.
What do you mean I need a new game console? I got a Nintendo.
Yeah, it's a winning strategy because everyone, here's the thing. In context, would you rather be one of these scumfucks over in England who's like, oh no, the king's evil, but at least we're not literally dying and having to eat our own shoes and our pack animals and watching our family slowly die in front of us.
Did you hear about Roanoke?
Yeah, did you hear? Yeah, it's just the colony that disappeared. Oh my God. Like, imagine being that, like, I'm sure, like, of course, I cannot sit here right now in a comfortable chair on my ass and say this without those poor assholes coming over and dying. But in context, that guy sitting at home drinking tea with the milk in it like they do in England, he's probably thinking, smartest decision I ever made was sitting on my ass and not revolting. Drink. That's what I'm getting at.
Drink.
In context.
It's delicious.
We still need the agitators. That's not me. I am agitated enough as it is.
David, speaking of agitators, I've been getting so much schadenfreude for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, 3 weeks? From what?
Well, was that 3 weeks ago? The 6th? 2 weeks ago, sorry. From the people that invaded the Capitol and now are going like, what? But how am I under arrest?
Isn't that so strange how that happens?
Wait a minute, I was on camera?
What? No, they all knew they recorded themselves, these stupid buttholes. Like, check out my Instagram. I just took Nancy Pelosi's laptop. Yo!
But here's the thing. You cannot stop idiots from doing idiot things. Like, because imagine this. History has just been repeating itself over and over. So when, like, the Colosseum was fucked, when they fucked up the Pantheon, anytime the citizens rose up and destroyed things, it's not because they had a great plan. So when they show up and they have no plan, it only makes sense to open the smartphone, to take a couple pictures. Because if you're not planning, you're not thinking you're going to get caught. There's no consequence if there is no plan.
Well, but I get it every time. Like, there's these racist ladies that are like, oh, go ahead and record me. What's going to happen? And then everybody in the internet goes, oh, well, I know exactly where you work. Let's call them.
I think that's an age thing because you don't see young people popping off to the camera. You see old people. Yeah, I think old people are still trapped in like the 90s where it's like, the internet's just a place for AOL Instant Messenger. Like, they don't know.
I guess.
Speaking of trapped in the 90s, David, you've gotten me watching commercials.
Aren't they great?
Well, here's the thing. I want to talk to the people who are preserving these on YouTube. Thank you. However,
90s commercial voice.
I don't need you to fucking put in the...
Yeah.
And now our commercial break from Darkwing Duck. Back to Darkwing Duck. I need you to cut that out.
Here's
also, in your compilations, please search for repeats.
Okay, so there's two types of YouTubers preserving 90s commercials. There are the people like you are saying where they are just clipping all the commercials and leaving them raw for everyone to enjoy with the intros and outros. And then you have like the curated ones who have like really well produced like intro screens with a VHS popping in. Like I subscribe to two channels, one that you're describing in which they just throw it up raw, no editing, no nothing. They just don't give a fuck. If the videotape has a line through 90% of it, they're like, whatever, uploading it.
Yeah.
But their videos are like an hour and a half, whereas the curated ones are like 20 minutes and also they're getting a little overproduced with the fucking bells and whistles. Give me an intro, give me an outro, whatever. So I get it.
So we
no one in the middle.
We watched some 70s commercials, David.
Aren't those like so startlingly frank?
And there's also a surprising amount of... So it must have been the very fucking first Burger King one where they're like, you can customize your hamburger. But it's a lady with that 70s haircut, like the bob that kind of frames their face in a weird way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, can I have my Whopper with no onions? And she starts singing a song. There are so many of those.
Yeah.
For all the restaurants. Like, once Burger King opened the door, I was like, get the cute girl with the bob. Have her sing about square patties or some shit.
It was like the things we take for granted now are they were new at one point, and you have to realize that. And in the 70s, like getting to tell someone that you want to customize your order for food, that must have been mind-blowing to people.
Yeah.
Imagine having to go through your entire life being like, I wish they wouldn't put pickles on that shit. And then one day they're like, you know what? We can leave shit off if you want. You must have just creamed your jeans if you were 8 and had to eat pickles your entire life.
I need you to also imagine this is the 70s. We don't really have computers.
Oh no.
And this lady has to call out the orders.
Oh,
being in the kitchen at that point when there's no tickets, like fuck.
You know, that's something that you can look at and you think, well, how? It's one of those things where we're definitely going to lose how it happened. Like there are so many things in history and prehistory where archaeologists, historians, paleontologists, etc., look back and they say they find a thing that there's evidence of existing, whether it's an action, like it's garbage or whatever. And they say, well, why? How did it? They couldn't have. And everybody looks at it, they scratch their head and they say, no, we can't figure out why or how it existed, so it can't. Are you fucking kidding me? It obviously can, did, and does because you're analyzing it.
You're looking at it, dumbass.
And we are doing the very same thing. Because you could add, like someone was alive during the 70s today, you could ask them like, hey, before computers, how did you tell the people in the kitchen? But once they die, I don't know. Once the generation below me, that's information lost.
Patha says, like when McDonald's told you to fuck off when you wanted breakfast at 10:31.
Yep.
Yeah, they still do.
Isn't that insane?
It's all. I thought it was all day.
Some.
now.
No, Jack in the Box.
There is some all day, but like there's some stuff where. And also, I don't understand how Jack in the Box can do all day breakfast and everything. And if I go to McDonald's at like, because the McDonald's around here, if you show up before 11 on a Saturday, they're like, "Fuck you! You get sausage."
Whatever.
Sometimes you need a burger, Dave.
No, you maybe. Yeah, but the thing about it is, like, it's so weird the restrictions we put on, and for what? Like, not even just fast food. Like, because fast food, yeah, it's stupid. Haha, like, you can't get a hash brown at 10:01. Like, how am I going to get diarrhea after the 11 o'clock hour?
Hash browns are so fucking good, though.
Sure, but like, why? Like, what? Everybody is doing these things, and they say, well, that's how it's done. I said, well, if everybody wants it the exact opposite way, like Jack in the Box, they were like, you know what? We're going to fess up. We make shit food that will give you colon cancer. And guess what? We're going to sell it all fucking day long because we know that you're
I
fat
started a
sack of
food thing
shit.
with David.
That's the thing. I was talking about this with Krista.
Yeah.
Food is my irrational weirdo thing, so we can't talk about it, Andy. Like, you have to know this.
They'll start railing on me. David, I have baby spinach in the fridge. Is that cool?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I use it. I'm gonna make a sweet potato and sausage soup with spinach.
watch out for the oxalates. It's my only thing. Like, spinach
I
is
don't know
good.
what the fucking oxalate is.
Just, if you eat a lot of spinach, the oxalates in them will build up. It's a certain type of toxin that in small doses is fine. But spinach, high carrier of it. However, it's also high in magnesium.
I like spinach. We don't eat it as very often, but I like it when we do.
If I look up how much spinach I have to take for oxalates to take over, and it's more than
No, it's a ton. You don't have to worry about it. But here's the thing. I think there's probably like a chart out there that shows like amount of vegetables eaten versus amount of free time. Like when I had free time, we ate like kings. We had fresh fruits and vegetables. I had time to make and chop up shit. And now I'm like running my finger under the fridge to see if there's anything under there that I can stick into my mouth if I have a
Dave,
chance.
I've had kids ask me ask me questions because they find out you play video games.
Me?
Because yeah, they found out that Dave plays video games.
Oh my God, I'll answer any question about that.
No, like these kids are trying to get on Fortnite yesterday.
Fuck.
I'm like, hey kids, I'm not stupid. They're like, oh no, this is where we're supposed to be. I was like, that's the Epic Games Launcher, you stupid shit. Stop getting on there. You're not playing Fortnite. And they're like, how do you know? I was like, because I've played Fortnite, you dumbass.
Yeah, the gap.
I'm not 50.
The last generation to really, really enjoy like tricking the elderly into playing video games and not realizing it is dead. It's gone.
It was ours.
There are a few dinosaurs still out there keeping the old guard who are like, I don't even know what fucking Tetris is. Those days are gone. Like back in the old days, you could pull up a flash game and your teacher would be like, meh.
But this does tie into the free time thing. Is the kids are going, you play video games? How? I'm like, because I don't have any kids.
Yeah, it's real rough.
Bam, 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 bam. I start shooting at them with my finger guns. No, and there's like have you heard of the anime My Hero Academia?
In passing from other people, yeah.
So there's like the tortured handsome boy character.
Of course, like in every anime.
In almost every 4th to 6th grade classroom I've been in, there's one girl that's obsessed with them.
You're kidding.
Yesterday, this girl is like, she has to answer questions like, what would you bring to the Old West? And she's like, this guy. I was like, I don't think that'd be much of a help because all he can do is light fire and freeze things. And she goes, you know him? Yeah, I read the comic book every Sunday. It's delivered to my iPad.
This is so crushing of a story, Andy. You've told 2 really sad stories tonight.
But that I'm
one about the mouse and the toaster, and now where you're feeding into this poor girl's delusions with your validation of such, and she's going to grow up to be a sex pervert.
Oh God.
David,
Great.
it's 4th grade. In 4th grade, everybody loves fictional characters.
That's true.
That's how. And then you start drawing Sonic, and then you start drawing him with a little extra this, and a little less of that.
Extra penis.
Little extra penis, and you start falling in love with animated characters, and before you know it, you're an adult who's like, Jessica Rabbit gives me such a boner. And I'm like, you realize that she came out of the mind of an old man who wrote down the lines with a pencil.
The lines.
Yeah.
You're right. That nobody could ever draw anything sexy.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, if it's a cartoon, I would never say, that's a cartoon. I would want to fuck. Here's the thing. There was a guy who used to...
I want to fuck that cellulose.
I'm going to tell you this. Do you remember the short-lived animated series? I think it was called Tripping the Rift.
I remember the name, but I can't picture any characters or know what it's about.
Spoiler alert, I'm sure nobody else does either, except for this guy. Do you know why? Because I worked with a man...
Cranking it every day.
No, in his late 40s, who this was when it was on, keep in mind. Obviously, it was never happened again or since. When it was in syndication for the 6 episodes, and after everyone he would watch, I would hear about it the next day. Not the entire episode, simply the attractiveness and how much he would like to bang the character voiced by Carmen Electra. And keep in mind, this is a circa 2006 era animation. So anytime someone shows a sexual interest in anything other than a human, I find it sus.
I don't disagree with you.
But somehow you still subscribe to that furry magazine.
Yeah, it's called
Fur on My Balls.
Kayla says,
Fur on My Balls.
Tripping the Rift.
So, she remembers it?
She said, I loved it.
Here's the thing. I'm sure it was whatever, but since I would obviously never touch it with a 10-foot porn pole because this guy kept horning up over one of these animated characters.
Stephen Root was on that.
Yeah, Stephen Root. I think Carmen Electra voiced the lady character, so maybe that was a driving force for the animated boner situation.
I never got Carmen Electra or Jenny McCarthy or any of that. It did.
I got Jenny McCarthy, but
But by the time I had reached Jenny McCarthy, she was already plastic.
I was fine with that. The thing that shut me down from Jenny McCarthy is like, lots of dudes can look at a picture of a woman, yank it all day and night. And even if that person on the poster turns out to be like a vapid idiot or is like completely counter to what they hold dear, their values or whatever, and they can put all that aside and be like, still gonna yank it. When I found out what type of like Jenny McCarthy was, I was like, no, I couldn't do it. She was too zany.
I've told you we do watch The Masked Singer, but every time she talks, like if you get me tossed enough, I'll just be like, Alex, I can't watch this show. I hate that bitch.
There are just, and through no fault of their own, this must just be her problem. Through no fault of their own, there are a lot of people who just rub everyone of a certain type the wrong way. People love... Now, this guy here is literally the only one who will tell you the truth about Dane Cook. This guy, Andy, me. When I said...
I don't particularly like Dane Cook.
Right, but back in the day, you say that now, but I think you're gaslighting me, because back in the day, I could not find a single person to agree with me that Dane Cook was a piece of shit hack. And now that he's fallen out of style, literally everyone agrees with me. I should have put that in a fucking fortune cookie, locked it in a safe, sunk it to the ocean, pulled it up, and had a list of names who fucking... And then I would have just mowed them all down for telling me I was wrong. No, just kidding.
I have never liked Dane Cook.
Me either.
I'm sure you're right, but it just felt like back in the day when like somehow people were like, you know what's funny? Loud noises. And he's like, oh shit, I'm loud. And it's like, boing, like perfect zenith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. David, I have disappointing news for you.
Is it
for a live
story?
show?
Oh
no. For a live show, this is disappointing because I had to pick up my groceries and very, very quickly put them away. And then I was like, David, I'm ready. I wasn't ready. I had to pee.
I mean,
that
we're still here.
What are you asking here? Are you asking that we end the live show? So
teacher, bathroom.
We cut out there. I didn't hear.
Can I go to the bathroom, teacher? Teacher?
Yeah.
Should I give you like the the sign language that kids are taught to use?
There's sign language.
Is there?
No, they
is that
teach
number
kids
one
sign
or
language.
number
This
two?
is R. This is the letter R, and I was like, why the fuck are they using R for the? Oh, it's restroom.
What's
so they
D?
don't have to like raise their head and their hand and be like, I have to pee in front of the class.
Except that I didn't recognize that at the time, so kids would raise their hand and in like a weird way, I'd be like, what do you need? They're like, I have to shit.
I promise. Got a dump. Oh wait, it's probably this
Got a
way, I
dump,
think.
teacher.
Dump time. All right, well go take your piss, and I'll look at
You'll
my
dance?
notes here.
Vatha says, I think my favorite Stephen Root character has always been from News Radio.
That one is pretty good. News Radio. A lot of people I know are gaga over his Office Space performance. I assume simply because of the legacy of the red stapler. I don't have to assume.
That's who Stephen Root is?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
He's the
who
stapler
Stephen
guy.
Root was.
Yeah, Stephen Root, wildly funny.
Stapler.
He was even in he was a vampire in True Blood or something. I remember him being a vampire and dying in something. And since I only watched True Blood and or that terrible Vampire Diaries, and I guarantee he wasn't in that. What's the other thing?
Typing Square.
Typing
The,
Square.
Legacies. Or not. Yeah. The
He,
Eternals.
yeah, whatever. I just know that he was a vampire and he was, I just remember being like, oh, Stephen Root. And he was like, it must have been, what was one of those things you watched?
Oh, it was True Blood. It was Vampire Diaries.
But there's a third one.
It was,
The one that's like less shitty.
yeah, the one with
Not a CW one.
Elijah and Klaus and stuff.
No, not a CW one.
Oh.
Not like the monkey face and the weirdo and the
I
vapid.
can't think of another vampire one that's not
And
CW.
maybe it was True Blood.
It was probably
I
True
did
Blood.
not pay
Because
attention.
that was like HBO.
But yeah, but like if you want to talk about like chasms of quality, going from like True Blood, at least being like a well acted piece of masterfully shot film, to like whatever the Eternals or the fucking Vamp Diaries or whatever.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's just like
Vampire
shot-
Diaries?
Yeah, it's shot wide and flat, and every word is just like, oh, I can't believe the family and my friends and the witches and the werewolves and the blah 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 and the brothers, and like, you guys have been alive for literally thousands of years and you haven't worked out any family issues. Like, none of you can just be like, here, I'll live in Europe, I'll live in Africa, I'll live in Asia, I'll live, like, just fuck off. You guys are immortal. If you guys have so much fucking trouble with each other, maybe move out of the same town.
Well, look at the vampire Lestat too. Like that guy has.
I can't because I've never
Issues?
seen that. I've never.
I read the
seen-
book.
Well, I've never read the book either. I'm my only passing reference is the Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise of it all, and what's her name?
It's a good movie.
Anne Rice.
With the-
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, with the man
Kirsten
hands.
Dunst.
With the man hands?
Yeah,
No,
man
with the
hands.
huge nipples. That's how I remember her.
True
From
Blood.
Spider-Man 2.
Oh.
I always remember her as the man hands because she has the hands of a man, and I find those more interesting or more aberrant. Like, women all have nipples. Some of them are big. Very few women have the hands of a very large man on a very small woman's body.
Yeah.
It's just interesting at that point in time when they were like, oh, okay, it's time to start doing superhero movies. What are we going to do? Like a scene in the rain? Is she wearing a bra?
Nah.
It was Sam Raimi. What was he gonna do?
Raimi has never had nudity in his shit. Unless it was
He
dead
still
people.
didn't. Those nips
I suppose not.
covered. Wet t-shirt contest. You can't have them without the t-shirt, so no nudity.
True.
He's right.
Whatever. I also have. I thought of something's been happening to me recently, and I was like, "This is so." I thought it was a circumstance of boredom. However, I think it's just being overwhelmed because it only happens at the end of a long day. If like after work, because like everybody's stressed and everybody is a pain in the ass, and I work at a clinic where people are coming in and are on their 5th positive COVID test and just can't figure out, like, they demand to know who they can speak to as to why they still have it. And guess what? COVID does not have a manager, so you cannot care in it. It'll kill you
What?
regardless. You dumb whatever. So, moral of the story is a lot of people are stressed. So I feel like I'm constantly at this high level, and I'm likening it to this. So in the electrical field, what we have is a breaker in a panel. So what you're getting is input from the outside, like from the SRP or your power company, goes through the breaker to make sure nothing too much goes through. Nothing too zany, nothing too crazy, or it'll shut that shit down.
Converts it.
Yes. No, it doesn't convert it. It just limits it.
No. Yeah.
So it says, okay, this much can go through, but any more, and we're shutting that shit down, bitch. It doesn't care what your excuse is. It's an automatic thing. And that's why I say a breaker. And it's not like a conscious choice. Because when I come home and I can feel, I come home, there's a kid. I got a small child running around. There's noise.
Wonderful child, though. I love the pictures. What a cute child.
I mean, he's great. But he's very loud. And when, I'm at maximum capacity, I can just, in my head, before I picture this metaphor, everything would just go boink, like a computer monitor going off. And it go like, maybe not a new computer monitor. You have to be old to get this metaphor, but like a CRT, it would go boing, and it would be black except for that one little white dot in the middle.
Yep.
And that's what it would be like. Like, I would just be like trying to do something, the kid's going on, the microwave's going off, there's music playing, and I would just go boing. And like, I could still hear stuff, but I was completely checked out. And I know Krista could tell because she's like, hello? And I'd be like, huh?
Yeah.
What?
And since it's automatic, you can't hide it. And
See, I can never, so I have the exact opposite problem all the time, is that if somebody starts speaking, I have to drop everything I'm doing to listen to them because I get irritated when, so like I'll speak to somebody for 5 minutes and they're like, sorry, I wasn't listening. Like, well.
I get that. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff like that. And it's weird because when you're dealing with it in small doses, because like in my office, I can shut the door and like let the capacity go down, let the wires cool off, let the heat, whatever. But it must be happening to somebody else, because I'm sure I'm not the first one to have like a boing, like you hit critical mass and your brain decides to be like,
well, that's like
reboot a little bit.
That's like, how I can kind of tune out Elliot's screaming.
But that's a conscious choice. That's a tolerance.
I guess I'm not making myself do it. It just happens.
Right. But the reference here to tie it all together is a breaker shuts off being like too much pew. What you're talking about is like you're a pair of noise canceling headphones. Mm-hmm. You have a built-in system. You have a built-in system that sort of comes in, filters the noise, blocks out everything that you're not interested in, does that. I can't do that. For one reason or another, sound is something I cannot ignore. It's probably why I can't ignore anyone who talks to me. I cannot tune out maybe anything, because I always have to have earplugs in at work to sort of tune out. But maybe that's it. I have no filter for the audio. And that's why I'm an audiophile, because I hear literally every imperfection.
I don't know, because you can ignore me pretty well.
When I've got my earbuds in, for sure. Yeah, if I have something I can latch onto, even if the other one's open, I'm dead.
No, if you don't have earphones in and you're like texting somebody, I could be talking and you are not listening to anything I'm saying.
If I'm texting, don't talk to me, because my attention is somewhere. Like, here's the thing.
See, I can't.
What?
Like, if David, if you started talking to me, like, it's one of the things that, and this is a brain thing for me, is like, somebody will text me and I'll text them right back and they won't get back to me for like 40 minutes to 2 hours. I'm like, what did I do wrong?
I have never experienced that, Andy. Please. What is this like? This is such a foreign, wait, maybe you know him, Adam.
I immediately get back to you unless I'm goddamn fucking.
No, I'm talking about
Adam.
Adam is like sending a note in a bottle on the sea, literally. He'll get it, maybe.
Congratulations to FFOP intern Joe.
For what?
For getting engaged just now.
Oh, snap.
Oh,
I'm not watching the typing square.
He's not in there. Andy's probably looking
Where are
at
you
Facebook.
seeing this, Andy?
Discord.
Oh, hey, Joe. You're probably not watching this if you're in Discord, then you dumb dick. Watch this show. But
Well, he
congratulations.
just got engaged. He's of course he's not watching this. He's getting
you can't
engaged.
put this on in the background? Like, let's say,
No.
let's say, for instance, this is on a computer in the background. Is it going to stop him from being like, will you? It might make her say
Yes,
no.
it would stop me.
It might make her say no, but it won't stop him from saying, will you? Anyway, where were we?
David didn't even say, "Will you marry me?"
It was a surprise. Listen, listen. What the fuck? Okay.
Oh, my wife heard me drunkenly talking during Thanksgiving about how I would like to marry her, and she said, "Why don't we?"
The show's what were we talking about?
You were talking about how it's so hard.
How
to
you can't.
Yeah, your sound. You're an audiophile.
No, it was after that.
And then you can't get a hold of Adam ever. It takes
Yes.
too long to respond to text messages.
See, that's why I have this
Where-
tablet.
Like I have to drop everything I'm doing, which sucks.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you're that type of person, yeah, I get it. But I don't like to be derailed. Now, but here's the thing. Phones are a real
Oh, you must
big,
hate this show.
well, yeah. But phones are a blind spot polite-wise because they're so new. Like, let's say I were sitting at a counter writing a letter. Would you, like, anyone, let's say like your wife, anyone is at a desk or wherever writing something on a piece of paper. Would you then start talking to them as if they were doing nothing? No, you'd be like, oh, they're doing something. But when we see someone with a phone in their hand and we think, oh, fuck that shit, I don't care what they're doing. You just start talking. Now, I'm not saying that Krista's like the only one guilty of this. I do it all the time too. But it's a blind spot we have. If someone were writing, or if you saw someone working on a calculator, you'd say, oh, when you get a second, let me know. But with a phone, it's like, fuck that shit. You know, you could be on like, you don't know what's going on. That's what I'm getting at. Like, you're gonna be having a horrible conversation with someone, and you're yelling at them over text. And you could just, like, someone banally walking up and be like, hey, what do you want for lunch? You're like, not right now, damn it. Like, phones are such an outlet and a conduit of emotion, and we just overlook them and be like, fuck it. If it were a letter or a calculator or whatever, you'd give it a second thought. But since someone's on their phone, you're just like, fuck it. You're probably just making a meme. Now, 9 times out of 10, yes, I'm just making a meme. However, the precedent was set. Once the attention is there, it's got to stay there till it's done. Otherwise, it ain't getting done. That's my thing.
I understand.
If you can stop and do something and come back to it, great. If I stop and come back to it later, I've forgotten what I was doing, where I was doing it,
like that's
how
my
to do
life.
it.
Like I just saw this on my desk. So you've seen me post the stuff I painted for the Warhammer models.
Yes.
I have the exact same thing. If I am interrupted painting something, I'm probably not coming back to it. Like this, I finished this. You can't see her very well. Like this golden lady, and I was like, "This looks good." And then I had to go do something. I've got 30 more to paint. And I'm just like, well, I've forgotten what I did.
Right. Yeah, and that is literally something that I grapple with on a daily basis because I have stretched myself so thin. And this is a consequence of everybody's life. Obviously, I'm not telling tales out of school here, but as you watch one skill grow, when you turn back around and look at all the other skills you used to have, they're fucking gonzo. Like, now that I'm working on this Raspberry Pi stuff and going through, and I'm like sort of learning coding and like and amalgamating all these programs and stuff, I'm like, oh wow, that's really great. I am scared to think of what I am losing right now because a lot of stuff is getting neglected, and I'm wondering when I'm going to go back to something and find that I'm completely shit at it.
No, I can't eat.
I'm just like stabbing myself in the eye with a fork, or like I'll go back to like photography, like I'll go out into the woods or whatever, hold the camera up to my eye, panic, and run off like a feral child, or just like, whatever else I do around here. If I try to, here's a perfect example. Right behind me, I've got a work caddy thing full of blank scorpion masks.
Yep.
I had that shit down to a science. The first one took literally a week of working on it every day, and it sucked. By the end, I could get one done between the time I woke up and ate dinner, and it was maybe not great. I'm sure other people do better work, but not shitty. And now if I tried to do it, God knows what would happen. I bet it would be a fucking disaster, and that's why they sit here completely undone.
Okay, David. My wife has texted me. She's on her way, so I have one thing for you.
Is it a nude? Send nudes.
It's my nudes. No, it's an Am I the Asshole, but I'm not telling you the title.
Okay. So am I supposed to be figuring something out? Is this a mystery?
The title gives it away, so I just don't want to.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I just don't want to. Okay, gotcha.
Trust me, I'm starting.
Oh, gotcha.
Trust me, I'm confused as heck as to what went on, but me, 22 female, and my roommate Becca, 23 female, had a major argument.
Women, am I right, Krista?
Yep.
They know how to
bitches.
fight.
Meow.
Becca got a piercing that got infected/irritated, and after going to the doctor, was told to clean it with a saline solution.
I've never had something that got infected that was not also irritated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All well and good, right? Saline is just salt and boiled water. Cool.
What? No, it's
No.
not. It's not.
No.
That's wrong.
So she's already a little wrong, but it gets...
Okay.
I'm going to tell you this. I don't think this person is the asshole.
Okay.
But Becca wanted to save money after the doctors. And not make up saline and wasted water. So she's been using her leftover pasta water to clean her piercing?
Oh, good.
Now
she's dead.
So now she has a yeast infection of the throat? Is that what you're telling me?
It's a nipple piercing, from what I understand.
Oh, why did I say throat?
I don't know.
Basically, that's just salt and water?
No. There's
Pasta
now. When have you
juices?
looked into pasta water and been like, "Yep, clean as a mountain spring"?
Pasta water
I'd
and hot
never.
dog water are disgusting to me.
Yeah.
You use pasta water to thicken sauces, so obviously it's not going to thicken up the pus that's already seeping through your infected nipples.
I use hot dog water to quench a thirst
Blech.
for hot dog water.
You know, like Limp Bizkit did.
Yeah, and then I have a chocolate starfish.
Yeah. As soon as I found this out, I told her, that's disgusting. And
Yeah.
that's probably why her piercing is still infected, but instead she called me out for judging her for being thrifty, and she told me she's not made of money. These are in quotations. Made of money.
Here's my thing, though.
Saline's not expensive.
Not only is it not expensive, but all you have to do to a person like this is just repeat what they told you back to them and say, is this true? I do it to people all the time, and you would not believe how quickly people go from confident as fuck to I'm a deer and that's a Mack truck.
Yeah. Or we used to do it to my old roommate all the time, where he'd start talking and we'd start Googling stuff, and he'd be like, wait.
Mm-hmm.
She's refusing to speak to me until I apologize for implying she's poor.
More than just implying. I mean, she said it. Like she's saying, hey, I don't want to spend money.
Here's the thing. If you're getting a piercing or a tattoo, I want you to also budget for the caretaking of said thing.
Right. That's the thing. When you buy a car, remember there's going to be gas, oil, etc. When you buy a dog, you're going to have to feed it and water it. Like these people look at these let's be real. There are assets and there are deficits. People look at these deficits as if they are assets and then forget. Like, yeah, dogs are cute and hilarious and funny and everything. However, they cost you money and time literally all the time and bring you very little money in return.
There's no money, but there's love.
You know what?
Unconditional.
There are tons of things that can show, love without, shitting in the backyard. Like Elliot, he can show me love all day and night. He does me the service of at least shitting in the same place every time. His diaper.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
But if you took away the diaper, it would be a surprise every time.
Yeah.
Right. But that's another compromise we both make is he agrees to wear the diaper and I agree to carry his fecal matter through my house instead of putting it into water and out a pipe like the rest of humanity.
I am surprised that, so this is just an aside.
Sure.
What is he, 2 years old?
Yes.
At that point, they usually start just removing the diaper and being like, nah.
I'm afraid.
We've had close calls and I'm still like, the thing about potty training is it takes a shit ton of energy, a metric shit ton of energy, because it may just seem like all you got to do is be like shit in the toilet. But no, what you actually have to do is sit on linoleum for 4 or 5 hours at a whack while your kid thinks about shitting and then slowly ties the two concepts together.
It isn't, but their brains aren't developed.
I know, But that's
David.
the thing. I'm not saying, oh, what a pain in the ass. I'm saying that's what you're signing up for.
I'd have to bring him to the bathroom every 15 minutes while I'm also working.
Yeah.
It's just now I can't.
Well,
It is literally
kids.
like raising a monkey that then you cannot like make do tricks and impress your friends with.
Yeah, but you're gonna have a really cool video game partner and board game.
Yeah. He
friend.
does like controllers.
Sure, but if I ever buy like one of those hand crank organs, who's gonna dance?
Krista? Trung? If he ever comes back?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we always have
Trung.
Trung. He'll always be my little organ grinder monkey.
Let's see. I am fed up of hearing about how her sword. I am fed up about. This is bad grammar. I'm fed up of hearing about her sore nipple if she's just going to slather it with pasta water.
And
I don't blame her.
I say this all the time in real life. I say it on the internet all the time. Like, critical thinking is at an all-time low, like use-wise, but an all-time high value-wise. Because just as another quick aside, here's how critical thinking can save a certain type of person money. Here in Arizona, there are places who put up signs and they say, guess what? We will test you for the corona viral disease of the year 2019 for free. Please drive this way. The place I work offered them for $100.
Yeah, because those are scientific tests.
Same test. Same fucking test. We offered the free test for $100. We cannot keep enough in stock. I deposited a stack of cash into the bank the other day.
My own bank account.
I'll tell you a story about that in a second. But so, moral of the story is we went from $100 and are now charging $125, and business has not slowed down. Critical thinking.
It's a trust thing, David. You're a clinic.
It doesn't. No, the other clinics, the other people giving it away for free.
Other clinics. Sorry,
Yeah.
it was just you told me there were signs.
No, there's signs outside of clinics, like the clinics who have same thing we're doing, same business, same type of person, doctors performing tests on quote unquote sick people.
So this is a cognitive dissonance thing. Is that if it's free, people assume it's shitty.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But that leads perfectly to what I'm going to tell you. Critical thinking costs you nothing except calories, but can save you, because any idiot who walks in and hears that'll be $125 when there are signs all over the valley saying free, and they go, you got it. Critical thinking would say cost versus gain. Cost, and also
critical thinking would, if I was going to get a corona test, I would think to myself, I ought to research all of the options.
Right. Moral of the story is an ounce of prevention, whatever. An ounce of
cure?
Prevention and cure. I was thinking of whatever. But that's it. I have saved so much of my own time and money because I'm a critical thinker. Before I do something, I say, how much is this going to cost me? If it's a lot, I say, okay, how much is it going to benefit me? If it's less than that, I don't fucking do it. But these people are like, well, what is it going to cost me? A lot of money. Dollars per hour, it's probably 10 hours of my paycheck on average. That's a big cost. What's the gain? I'll know that I'm still positive for coronavirus for the third time. That's their benefit. Is that cost worth that gain?
I'm still positive because I haven't sat down or done anything. I haven't laid down to be cured.
Yeah, I
haven't taken any rest. These people are like, no, I can still work.
But, and that's, there you go. Critical thinking. Free, bitch. It is free. And
literally, David, last week, so the 4th grade that I taught yesterday, I was supposed to teach all last week.
Sure.
They had a coronavirus scare, so it was all Zoom classes.
Mm-hmm.
My job was to teach them for 2 half-hour stretches and then sit in an empty classroom reading novels.
Sure.
Nice.
And that's...
And then they're like, well, nobody came back with another positive test. Like, did you test them again before they came back? Or... Because it's only been a week.
Right.
Listen, there are no amount of things that we could be doing better. However, I will share this with you to give us all sort of some hope, for the future. So working in the medical industry as I do, I get to see not only the good, the bad, but also the good.
Dr. David?
They call me Dr. David. I mean, the people who work in the clinic don't because they know I'm not a doctor, but other people who don't know, they do. But moral of the story is, a lot less people are getting the flu and a lot less people are needing the flu shot this year because of the masks.
Mm-hmm.
So not only, here's the proof. If there's an anti-masker listening or watching, I doubt there is. You're smarter than that. But
yeah, take this.
Here's the proof. The flu is super light this year. And do you know why? It travels just like coronavirus. Through your fucking face, dipshits. So when you cover that shit when you're sick, or even if you're not sick and you suspect you might, or other people might be and don't tell you, a lot less people get sick. So guess what? If we all, when we felt it, told someone or just fucking covered your, I'm not here for a soapbox. What I'm saying is, moral of the story is, a lot less people are getting sick with the flu, and we're flattening the curve with everything else. So upside.
That could have been the name of our podcast.
What?
I'm not here for a soapbox.
But then it would obviously be a lie. Andy.
We didn't finish the thing.
What?
His story.
Oh, no. The finality is she says, am I the asshole? Is this just a common practice and I don't know about it?
No, what? Listen. So this bitch is also a victim of not critically thinking. So if you can look at that and be like, am I the asshole? Because someone is putting a perishable item, something that organisms feed on, like bacteria, and injecting that into an open wound, her nipple. Am I the asshole?
I don't think she's injecting it. She's like she's
I know,
rubbing it.
not obviously injecting, but it is going to infiltrate the open wound in your body, aka the piercing.
She's not the asshole, but she's just
she's
dumb.
just stupid also. Now, by the look of the fright diarrhea on Andy's face, something tells me somebody is home.
I just sharted.
Something tells me somebody just got home. Yep, there she is. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Say hello to the
David
internet.
says hi.
Come back. No, just kidding. She's like, I gotta get out of here. Andy, why don't we do this? Why don't we start wrapping it up? Why don't you give us and our audience some staff recommendations? Oh, wait, Vathis, have you seen this before we go? It is. I realize it's probably been hanging out of frame the whole time, but there it is. Ta-da!
I can't see you.
It's a charm he made me. The framing is bad, but it's here with Iron Man. So whatever. Staff recommendations. Sorry, I digress because I meant to say that way earlier.
Adam bought me Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice for PC.
How is that?
I'm going to recommend it. I'm going to say that it took me 30 hours and about 15 of that was spent on 3 bosses.
That's like 5 hours of boss, Andy.
No, seriously. Like when I finally beat it, I was like, fuck you, game. Fuck you.
Do you want to know? Here's a quick story. I had a very similar celebration when I beat Tekken 3. Do you remember the name of the old professor character from Tekken 3? By chance?
God, no. We called him we called him Professor. We called him Dr. Scootaway,
right?
Because he'd get on a professor.
Dr. Scootaway, Professor Breakdance, whatever. He was the most annoying character in the world, and it took me literally 487 retries to beat him.
Ooh.
And I was literally 1/8 of an inch of my ass was on the couch the whole time. And when I beat him, I was so happy. I shot into the air going, yeah! And not only did I punch the ceiling, because I was already 6 foot tall at this point, I had punched through the fan, somehow missing the blades the first time, only to have them whack my arm after impacting the ceiling.
Oh my God.
It's a really good game, but I'm telling you right now, you're going to hit bosses where it's just like, fuck.
I'm okay with hard games. I just need to have it worthwhile. Like I'm playing a game right now. I'm not going to spoil it because I'm going to review it, but it's so strange to me because the levels are super challenging yet insanely fun, and the bosses are insanely easy. And it seems like such a weird, like you go through this level that will knock your dick to the dirt, smash it flatter than a sheet of paper, and press it under the door of an ex-girlfriend, and then you get to the boss, and you go, achoo, and it dies.
No.
So that'll be in the review. So Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, right, is the whole title?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been out for a while. Adam set it for me for Christmas on PC. I used to have it on Xbox, and I gave up after maybe 5 hours because I couldn't beat a regular enemy with a spear.
Those hardcore Dark Souls-y style games are popular. They're still not my gig, but I'm sure like the people who love that genre are happier than pigs in shit because there are so many Dark Soul clones.
And like I said, it was fun, and it felt like every time I'd fight a boss, I'd learn something, like a little bit of something. And the next time I'd block that attack, or I'd jump it, or I'd counter, or something.
That's how I feel with a lot of these infinite runner or roguelike games that I'm playing. Like, let's say a touchstone for everybody, I'm sure, is like Enter the Gungeon.
Yes.
When you start, you're shit, you make it through 0 rooms, but before long, you're like shooting in 2 directions and like checking your watch and like leaving a little turd on the counter for like one of the angry bullet guys. Yeah. So, I mean, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And I think that's what makes people so smug is like,
I struggled through it.
Yeah. I had to eat shit. And now I'm going to be, I proudly show you the shit I take afterwards of all the shit I had to eat. And so you're like, whoa, great. Take a picture. Put it on Instagram. Krista, do you want to recommend anything to anybody?
I mean, if you like dinosaurs like David, I got him Fossil Crate. It wasn't in a crate.
Oh, that was another thing I was going to do on this live show. 2 things I was going to do on this live show didn't. Show off those fossils and wear my flamingo jumpsuit. Neither happened.
Well, I tell you what, David, when you get me on a live show, it just turns into a regular show unless we have a plan.
This is every time, Andy. Like I think, yep, that's what's going to happen. And I go, sit down, forget the whole plan.
Off the rails.
I even have this tablet that I write important things down on.
Well, see, I had a game planned too.
Oh, well, and see, that's the thing. We gotta maybe
communicate
beforehand. The show meeting should be less, are you available? And yes, and more like, should we do something? And maybe.
It was MAGA or not?
Naga.
MAGA or Naga?
MAGA or Naga.
Not America great again.
Yeah. Am I gonna Magana or Naganana?
Oh, Jesus.
Nagamaganana.
Here's the thing. I can appreciate dedication. Here are some things I respect. Dedication, steadfastness, resolve. However, when your dude loses 40 lawsuits and
more than that, I told you, David, that was something I was going to talk about. My uncle.
The flag. Take down your flag. He lost over and over again. It would be like, that meme where it's the guy and he's like at the Olympics and he bites the medal and he pours the champagne on his head and we zoom out and he's in 3rd place.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. David, you are 2 steps removed from somebody who denied Trump a victory in Nevada.
I know. It's sad. But moral of the story is, if that meme you zoomed out and the person we focused on wasn't even involved, they were a person in the audience, and somehow they found a medal, they brought a medal, and they're dumping champagne on themselves, and they're just in the stands, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Okay, that's the way you want to live. Anyway,
what are you recommending, David?
I'm going to recommend. So there's an Atari 2600 game that came out. I'm on this kick of
came out.
Yes, I'm on a kick of new games for old systems. We talked about Halo 2600 with RJ. The recommendation for this one is going to be... Shit, I've already forgotten it. What did I say? The game? I just said it?
You didn't
Halo
say
2600?
No, the other one.
You didn't say it.
No, I said it was...
You didn't...
Okay, it was Atari... Shit.
It was an Atari 2600 game, David.
I lost it.
You didn't write it on your tablet?
No. Well, let me check my tablet. No, that's no help.
No. This is not an Atari 2600. It has no wood paneling.
It was... shit. Well, shit. I lost it. I can't believe it. I was playing it today. Okay, whatever. Here's my recommendation. No,
send it to me, though, because I'm always looking for stuff to put on my pie.
Assembloids. I remembered it. Oh. New, old 2600 game. Made, I think, in like between 2008 and 2010. It is Tetris, essentially. The mechanics of Tetris, but instead of falling blocks, you're creating little animal figures. I'm going to do a little review on it, but that's what I'm going to recommend. It's a free ROM, so if you have a Raspberry Pi, fucking free. It's like 4 kilobytes.
Well, yeah, that's Atari.
It's crazy. But yeah, Assembloids. I had Krista playing it. I played it. I'm probably going to play some more of it later. Really fun and addictive, free. And if you got a Raspberry Pi, I've been playing it on the Raspberry Pi Zero, so it's fun.
What's the Zero, huh?
Yeah, I got the Raspberry Pi Zero thinking, this will be something big. Well, I was wrong, but it still does stuff. I guess that's it.
I think so.
Another secondary recommendation. This is an old Atari game, Tapper. You're a bartender, giving beers to people. Some of them rang you and they send it back. It took me 20 years to remember what that game was, and I accidentally found it. Played it all the time on MS-DOS as a kid.
David, they literally mention, if you ever watch any Disney movies, they literally mention it in Wreck-It Ralph.
I have not watched a Disney movie since Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
We're a little behind.
A little behind. When they dropped the clamshells, I was like, this isn't for me, and I was out of there.
Get out of here.
Anyway, guys, thanks for showing up for this live show. I appreciate it. Thank you for participating in the typing square. And until next time, I'm Dave.
I'm Krista.
I'm Andy.
Saying this isn't a regular show, so I'm not going to feel bad about having a shit outro. See you guys.
Bye.
You haven't felt bad about having a shit outro for forever.